Scientists are keeping a close eye on a massive object flying straight toward our sun. The Manhattan-sized object is called 3I Atlas, and during observation, scientists have been for 72 hours. The global scientific network had been fixated on a single data stream, a faint cascade of encoded pulses that originated from beyond Neptune's orbit. The object responsible, designated 3Y Atlas, had been catalogued months earlier as only the third confirmed interstellar visitor to the solar system. It was first thought to be a tumbling shard of rock and ice, another wandering relic cast out from some distant stellar nursery. Yet as astronomers tuned their instruments, they found its albedo far too regular, its trajectory impossibly precise, and its faint radio emissions arranged in patterns that could not be dismissed as natural noise. By the time 3I Atlas neared the heliopause, the world had already divided into camps, those who called it a probe, those who called it a weapon, and those who feared it was both. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. The final transmission came at 3:19 UTC, a burst of compressed signal caught simultaneously by the Very Large Array, the Lunar Relay, and two deep space listening posts stationed in Mars orbit. The message began with the same repeating tones that had haunted analysts for weeks, then shifted into a new structure, cascading harmonics layered into what one linguist described as the acoustic geometry of intention. Within seconds of decryption, the automated systems flagged the packet as an alert. Human eyes followed moments later, tracing the binary matrix as it unfolded into a pattern that mimicked the spectral map of Earth's atmosphere. Then the pattern distorted, highlighting a sudden spike in trace elements that should not have been there: xenon isotopes, ozone fragments, and an anomalous surge in carbon compounds. In the final seconds of the signal, the map blinked, a pulse of red light marking the exact coordinates of Earth, then silenced. No further emissions followed. 3I Atlas drifted, its signal flatlined, and deep space radar confirmed that the object was decelerating at a rate that defied Newtonian expectation, as though some invisible mechanism had powered down. Across every continent, observatories, military networks, and news stations reacted in unison. The words carried in the alert header, translated roughly from the mathematical grammar of the transmission, read as a warning, a declaration of observed instability. The phrase reconstructed from the data stream became a mantra whispered through control rooms and command centers. The biosphere is changing faster than it should. To the scientific community, this was not prophecy but diagnosis. To the rest of the world, it was an omen. In the hours that followed, analysis teams pored over the remnants of the signal. The message carried layers upon layers of compressed telemetry, suggesting that 3Y Atlas had been monitoring Earth's magnetosphere, atmospheric chemistry, and radiation profile long before its discovery. The oldest fragments of data trace back several years, implying that the object's sensors, or whatever form of perception it possessed, had been observing silently from interstellar space long before it entered the solar system. What disturbed scientists most was that the data seemed self-organized, curated as if by design. Each sequence tagged by location and time, each anomaly annotated with a pattern resembling a correction symbol. It was as if the entity had been measuring the health of the planet, comparing it against some universal constant of biological equilibrium, and had now issued a verdict: warning, deviation extreme, corrective action required. In laboratories and conference halls, arguments ignited over interpretation. Some believed 3Y Atlas was an automated surveyor from a civilization that seeded life across the galaxy, returning periodically to check on its progeny. Others thought it might be a kind of interstellar sentinel, a passive observer programmed to monitor planets for signs of collapse or contagion that might threaten the wider cosmic ecosystem. A few fringe theorists proposed that its transmission was not directed toward Earth's inhabitants at all, but toward a distant network of its own kind, a message announcing that the planet had reached a threshold. Whatever the intent, the consensus among signal analysts was undeniable. The warning had been explicit, and the subject of that warning was Earth itself. The precision of 3I Atlas's data was staggering. It catalogued atmospheric fluctuations with nanosecond resolution, showing not only the steady accumulation of greenhouse gases, but subtle distortions in the electromagnetic field correlated with human industry. The signal appeared to depict humanity as a form of interference, an emergent phenomenon disrupting a fragile equilibrium. To many listeners, this interpretation carried a moral gravity that was impossible to ignore. If 3i Atlas had been designed to monitor life-bearing worlds, then its transmission suggested disappointment, not malice, but disapproval from a logic far older and colder than human consciousness. The realization struck at something primal. Humanity had been noticed, measured, and found wanting. Astronomers continued tracking 3i Atlas's path as it slowed near the heliopause, lingering at the edge of interstellar space. Some speculated it was waiting for a response. Others argued that it was recording the consequences of its own message. A minority suggested that it had fulfilled its purpose and was now entering dormancy, its systems designed to power down once its warning was delivered. Telescopic imagery revealed faint iridescence along its surface, geometric panels reflecting starlight in patterns inconsistent with natural mineral structure. This was the final confirmation skeptics needed. 3i Atlas was not a rock. It was a construct, though whether mechanical or biological remained uncertain. The implications of its existence reverberated through every field of human thought. Philosophers saw in it the ultimate mirror, an intelligence that neither dominated nor conversed, but simply observed and reported. Religious leaders found in its silence the echo of prophecy, a cosmic messenger, acknowledging creation's imbalance. Economists debated how the warning might reshape civilization's priorities if accepted as genuine. Yet the object itself remained indifferent, spinning slowly against the backdrop of the stars. Its faint ion trail a reminder that something greater had passed briefly within reach. Governments convened emergency councils to assess the security implications of the event. The possibility that 3i Atlas's warning might precede some kind of cosmic quarantine was raised behind closed doors. Defense agencies analyzed whether the object's transmission could have activated latent systems elsewhere in the solar system. Deep space radar watched for echoes, reflections, or signals returning from beyond the heliosphere. None came. The silence that followed the warning was absolute, amplifying its gravity. It was as though the universe had spoken once, and then retreated to listen for humanity's reaction. The language embedded within the transmission became a new field of study, blending linguistics, cryptography, and bioinformatics. Scholars discovered that its syntax mirrored the genetic code, sequences of paired and repeating patterns resembling codons. When mapped against Earth's biodiversity databases, strange correlations appeared. Certain patterns corresponded to DNA markers in endangered species, while others matched atmospheric chemical ratios. The message seemed to frame life as data, variables in a system approaching instability.